Well, today we're working on upholstering the front seat of the 51 Ford pickup, and we've got our foam. Well, first of all, I cleaned up the entire frame and have a layer of, cleaned it up, repainted it, have a layer of canvas on top of this that I've used the hog rings on. And I just put on this layer of 1-inch foam. So we're going to go ahead and get the seat cover attached. It's a pretty simple job, but it's just a little tedious sometimes, and you have to be careful. Make sure you take your time. And with any upholstering job, you want to make sure that the top layer of your upholstering is uniform and eliminate as many puckers as possible. It doesn't have to be real tight, but it's got to be tight enough that you're not going to show wrinkles and things like that. So here's our seat pad. It already has some nice foam inserted in it, and let's see how it looks just as a first fit. I mean, it lays nice. It naturally does not have any wrinkles in it. Having that foam backing already attached is a big help. So I think this is going to be pretty easy. You're going to make sure that your center, this divider, is right in the middle of your frame, and based on how the corners are lining up, it looks pretty good. Also, front to back. Make sure that this bolt rope, which is this outer liner, is uniform from side to side. And it looks pretty good. So the idea is to start the way I do it. I might try to do this with this right side up. Otherwise, it's best to, once you get a couple hog rings in front and back and on the sides, just a total of 4, then you can flip it over, and then it makes it much easier to put the hog rings in. But I want to make sure that this foam is sufficient. Otherwise, you may have to put in some cotton batting to fill in these side gaps to actually increase the length and increase the width. So then that when you do pull everything taut, it'll stay taut and not pucker up. All right, so let's get a couple hog rings attached here. I'm going to use the hog rings that came with this kit, even though I have a lot of my own. These seem to work okay. So let's get one in the front. Make sure that the amount that material to the point where the hog rings gets attached is kind of uniform, front to back. That's why I would start with just one on each side. Let me make sure. Let me measure on this frame to make sure I have center. And let me turn this around so you can see a little bit better. I'm going to measure outside of that brace. That's 41, so that's 20 and a half, which is where roughly center is located, right there. And I'll get a couple hog rings in here and I'll bring you around here to show you how things are lined up. Get another one on there. Let's get one in the back. There were a couple in the back at the center line. And where's my tape here? Let's find the center here. And I'm going to measure between where are these braces. That's 39, so it's 19 and a half is center. And there's a clip right there. So try to center that guy. Like I said, it's not difficult. Take your time. Try to I need a hog ring, and sometimes it requires another hand, but still doable by yourself. All right, let's see. Put two here. It's kind of important to get your center lined up correctly, because when you put the back on, there's also a center rib here of vinyl, and you want to make sure that they're lined up. So we got one front, one back. Let's do side. figure out how this is supposed to be attached. Take a look at the other side to see if we're kind of lined up equally, and we are. Now let me show you one here. Okay, flip this up. See what the front hog ring. There's along this rail. There's holes, and the hog ring goes around this bolt rope, this black part, which has a nylon strip in it, and that helps support and does strain relief. So we got that attached. So similar in the back. On the side, they have a nice little cutout here, and this is going to be attached up further. I believe it's going to get attached to this part of the rod, but on the bottom front you can see this is going to wrap all the way around and get attached to that point. So we're going to make sure that this little cutout lines up right about there, so that means that we're not shifted front and back a little bit wrong. It also is going to help make sure that when this front wraps around, that it will be uniform across from side to side. So I think it's kind of lined up. I'm going to start attaching the hog rings, and hopefully won't have to rip any out. I think this is going to be taut enough that we won't have puckering. This is going to get pulled, and the back is going to get pulled down that way. So this should stretch that out. So, all right, let me get started with that. So we got the front and the back hog rings in. We want to make sure that the front is uniform across. The back, it's not as critical because the seat back is going to cover up the back edge. I just have to finish up. Actually, I've got to figure out how the best way to put this. I'm not quite sure which way this is supposed to go. I don't know if it goes under that bar, because this is going to be part of the to mount the seat back on. I think there's a bracket that or bolt goes through here, and then I don't recall exactly how this went, but I'm going to take a look at how that seat back is supposed to go on, and take it from there. But I think the majority of this base seat bottom is finished, and here across the front we do have a little bit of puckering here. I might have to pull this edge down a little bit more. This corner about the same. Almost like the corner needed a little bit more more padding underneath of it. or that it should have been pulled back even more. So I'll try to straighten that out, but overall it looks pretty good. 75% satisfied, but we'll get those other parts fixed. I get it to 100% satisfaction. I think these are just perfect. I like these seat covers, very nice, true fitting. And this side the same. I got this puckering out. What I did was I used some of this cotton, well, I'm not sure it's cotton, but I think it's cotton batting, and put some thin strips underneath in that gap. You can kind of see some of the not so uniform pieces, but I think that looks really good. So I'm going to call that almost complete after I get the two back corners done, and then we'll start working on the seat back. Continuing on to the seat back, I kind of jumped ahead here, but basically the same concept. What I did was I put a piece of, and this is the face of the seat. I put a canvas backer protection, then a 1-inch foam, and then our new seat pads, which they have foam in as well. I found the center of the seat back by measuring between that rail to that rail divided by 2, and it is 25¼ inches. And so I marked the center on the rail, and then I marked the center of this, I don't know what it's called, bolster, I believe. So that should be lined up with center, which will be lined up with center on the seat bottom. And then I did the same thing at the top. So here's our half mark for the bolster, and we have a mark on the rail. So I put a couple hog rings in already, and it's just a matter of getting these sides stretched up enough. It doesn't appear that there's enough to stretch, but they will stretch down to these springs, and I think that's where we've got to attach them, because there's no main, oh, there is a main rail on the side here that goes along this length, but I don't think we can wrap around this cloth to mate with that and then get a hog ring in. I can wrap this around and get a hog ring onto these springs. So I think that's the route we're going to go. We're putting hog rings in at the edge of the springs, since there's not a rail with holes in it, and the same here. So it's looking fine. Ignore those small deteriorated holes there. I think what I'm going to do, since this is an open back seat, I could have got a closed back, but then you're not really certain that you're going to get a good fit. But I don't know, that's just me. But I think what I'm going to do is, once this front seat pad is all hog ringed down, I may then get a piece of canvas or another similar gray and glue it onto the back so that the back is closed up. You're never going to see it unless you pull the seat forward, since it's a pickup truck. But this is looking pretty decent. The section that we've got hogged ring in, it has a nice feel to it. It's not too loose and it's not too tight. So I'm going to continue hog ringing this in, and we'll see how it turns out. Well, that's the easy part. We got that, the top and the bottom hog ringed, and everything looks really nice. I think let me lay this thing down and we'll be able to check out side to side. So yeah, where this bead, this bolt rope bead goes, it's right on the corner, right on the end. And this one is the same. Very nice. Alright, so now we have to work on putting these ends. And so I think what I might do is just work my way down from this corner to kind of keep everything tight. And pull it down, you know, in and down. So be that way on both sides. Alright, here's the back. We got the sides, the bottom. The bottom is always the tricky part. If you don't have things lined up correctly to begin with, like the center lines, you're going to have problems at the ends. And these turned out pretty decent. This one isn't perfect. I've got to kind of fold over, maybe spray some adhesive in there to keep these small pieces together. But that's all going to be hidden anyway. The upper corners, they look pretty good. There's not much you can do about that fold over because it's a corner. And let's flip it over and see what the front looks like. Just stand it up. I can do this one-handed. Sorry for the shaky camera. Stand up there. All right, that's fine. So there it is. Corners are nice and taut. Feels good. Corners there, great. Looks really good. I like these covers a lot. They fit really well. So the next part would be to assemble them, but I'm not ready to do that. We'll probably put the seat back onto the seat bottom while it's in the truck, and that's going to be a while, but I'll carry these over, or this one over, store it, and call it done for now. Oh, one side note is if you do need adhesive, and sometimes it's helpful to put adhesive underneath on the sidebar because it just takes some of the strain relief off. But I use some over down in here for this one flap, and it works nice. The type of adhesive I used is 3M 90 contact adhesive. It's a high strength. I would recommend using this or headliner type of adhesive, something that's not going to soften up with heat. So this stays pretty solid and you know, a correct adhesive, even if it gets warm. I've used some on headliners before that were not, I think it was 3M 70, and it just didn't work well at all. The headliner delaminated, and that was all due to heat. So for upholstering seats, it's not as critical, but I would recommend using this stuff. So here's where I'm going to be storing this stuff. It's down my basement, and it's clean. Got my bar, pool table, and my grandson's little vehicles here. He loves the fire truck and the wagon. Still a little bit too young for the pedal car, but he can scoot around on them pretty well. So that's it for now. I'm going to call this video done. Hope you learned something with these seat covers. Doing bench seats. I've done some bench seats on my other truck, and that was just a repair basically. But I did my 55 Chevy, and that was a little bit more challenging. I had a lot more puckering. It was a different company that did the seat covers, so it was partly my problem and partly that the seat covers were a little bit baggy. So anyway, these seat covers were from Seats, S-E-A-T-Z, and also Ray Buck was the people that I went through, and they were very good. So all right, well, I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. If you liked it, please hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. And I really appreciate your support. So we'll have more videos coming up real soon, and we'll see you the next time. Thanks.